Hi. Something that I think that we as moms of twins or teenagers maybe ask ourselves is how to take care of our teenager skin properly. Should they have their skincare routine? When should they start to have it? Should they use my products, or should I create or choose some products specifically for them? Will they have acne, or maybe they have some cameras and I don't know how to treat them? So all those answers, all those questions, I want to give you the answer right here. If you want to take care of the skin of your twin or teenage kid, download now on my free ebook, My First Pimple. This is a routine for parents. It's a guide for parents on how to establish a proper routine for that age. You will find how to choose natural products, what do you have to take in account when you are choosing those products. So download now. Usually when we think about aging of the skin, we automatically think in mature skin. But what if I tell you that the signs of aging starts as soon as teenage or even tweenage? I know it sounds terrible, and I am not willing to tell you that a young skin is now an old skin. No. However, it's important that you know this. The first signs of aging, of those parameters that we take care when we talk about aging, starts in the teen age. Okay, so let's talk about them. For example, the first one is the pore size. And when we think about pores, when we think about the skin of a kid, we think in that porcelain, those tiny, super small pores, very, very closed. So that happens because when we are kids, the production of the synthesis of collagen and elastin is super high. So this maintains the structure of the skin. That is why the skin looks so close. Those pores look so tiny and close. Okay, what happens when kids get to 7 years old approx? The apocrine glands start start developing. Okay, at the same time, from this moment, the sebum production starts increasing. Okay, so when we don't see this at 7, it starts at 7, and depending of the genes of any person, you could see it in the kid maybe at 9, sometimes at 10, sometimes at 11. It will depend of the genetic, but it starts about 7 years old. Okay. So what happens is that this increase in sebum production start enlarging the pores. What also happens at the same time is that we start reducing the collagen synthesis. That is why the pores are not strong enough. They lose a little of structure, and this increase in the sebum production enlarges the pore. That is what happens, and that is the first sign of aging. Okay, and why should we care? Because when the pores start enlarging, the face starts receiving a little more sebum than habitual. Okay, so this is the seed of the future Cameron, and the Cameron can become acne. Okay, that is why we should take care of the skin of our kids early enough because those changes start maybe at 7 years old, such early. Okay, another sign that we find that starts very early, it is not intrinsic aging. It doesn't have, it's not related to the genes of a person, but it's related to the environment. And I am talking here about the dark spots. Yes, dark spots can appear in kids. it is more related to melanin. It's a hyperpigmentation that occurs because when the kid has some comedown or because the exposure to sun, and melanin starts increasing in some little areas, causing like this local hyperpigmentation. Okay, we don't see it, when we see a kid. But for example, my kid has hyperpigmentation just a little bit in her forehead, and she's almost 13. So at this age, hyperpigmentation also starts. So what should we do if we have a teenage at home? What should we do to take care about their skin? Okay, well, the first thing we need to do is to avoid skin aggressors. Okay, which are the main one are sun and pollution. Okay, they create in our skin the oxidative stress. What is that? Basically, they damage one cell, and that cell damage other good cells. That is oxidative stress. That damaged cell, we call that a free radical, and the process when this free radical damage other cells is called the oxidative stress. Okay, that is the first one. We can't avoid our kids to go to the sun. I mean, it's impossible. We can keep them locked in our house, okay? But it's important to start choosing the proper sunscreen for them, okay? Usually in teenage, it's hard to choose a sunscreen. First of all, because we don't want chemical, we don't want a chemical one, okay? And second, because sunscreens are too greasy, and we don't want them to put more grease in their face and maybe clog their pores. Okay, so in my blog I left you a link. I will leave you here as well, or in a history, a link with sunscreens that are mineral sunscreens, which are a more natural option, but also are less greasy than usual, are absorbed very, very fast. Okay, but that is super important. Okay, another aspect that we should take care about if we want to take care of our kids' skin is nutrition. Okay, we have there are the essential nutrients. But why do essential nutrients exist? Basically, are those that our body needs to live, are essential for our health, but our body don't synthesize them. That is why we have to supplement them, both through our food or topically in the case of some specific cases. Okay, which are those essential nutrients? Basically vitamins, proteins, oxygen, light, and fatty acids. Okay, for the topical supplementation, there are vitamins are very important, specifically vitamin C, because when we eat something with vitamin C, our body don't synthesize vitamin C enough to combat the oxidative stress. That is why we should supplement vitamin C topically, and we could do it since 12 years old. I mean, vitamin C is so good for skin, and it's so good. The important thing is to choose the right one, a natural one. I also left you some recommendations in my blog, but it's very, very important. The second thing that we need to supplement topically are fatty acids. Okay, fatty acids are omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. When we take them through food, the proportion between 6 and 3 should be 4:1. I mean, 4 parts of omega-6 and 3 parts of omega-3. Okay, and when we put them topically, this should be like 3 parts by 1. Okay, 3 parts omega-6, 1 part omega-3, and that is why we should use products with vegetable oils, not mineral oils. So that is the way we need to supplement them in the food, and it's a way to keep their skin healthy. Okay, now let's talk about one super important factor that affects skin health and skin aging is emotions. Okay, our kids have very stressful lives. And that sounds funny, I know, but please think about them right now. They are in social media and they are always seeing perfection, perfect lives, for perfect bodies, perfect faces, and you know they have like that social pressure. They are also maybe in high school, the academic charge intensifies. You know, they have stress. Maybe they sleep not that well, and that those are things that we should take care in our kids, you know, in order to have a great skin. Maybe let them breathe, you know, practice some kind of short meditation, you know, have these little mindfulness activities that support them to combat stress in that age. Maybe they don't have, you know, the concerns that we adults have, you know, bills and money and all that stuff, but they do have their own concerns, and it's important to have them in account. And the last part on how to take care of this young skin is the proper skincare routine. So when is the right time, okay? And how is the correct time? And I am talking today only, I am limiting this content only to the cleansing process, because it would be too long, and in the next weeks I will be talking about the other steps. But let's talk about cleansing, okay? We have to remove that excess of sebum, that pollution, you know, that dairy that from our face, from their faces, okay? Usually what we use is a water-based cleanser. But why a water-based cleanser cleans is because they have this ingredient called surfactant that basically creates a tension in the surface of our skin and attracts dirt, okay? Attracts dirt, and they take it away with water. What happens? Sebum is not soluble with water, okay? They repel. So if you want to remove the whole sebum of the face, I mean the whole excess of sebum of the face, you need to increase the surfactant. But if you do so, then it would be too harsh for such a young skin. That is why the best way to clean the face is using a 2-step cleansing process. How that works? Basically, the first step is cleansing with oil. Oil cleansers has these ingredients that makes them melt in contact with water. Then what happens is that you clean with oil in your dry skin. This oil emulsionates with sebum, and when in contact with water, it becomes like a milk, and it doesn't leave like the greasy face, okay? Actually, when kids are like 9 or 10, 11, even 12 years old, that is the only step of cleansing they need. After between 12 and 13 years old, that sebum increases, then we add the second step cleansing, okay? This is with a water-based cleanser. And now we can use a regular water-based for sensitive skin cleanser, and you can choose that because TweenGreens is going to launch, or we are going to launch our skincare cleanser for this age in a few months. So in the meantime, you can choose a water-based cleanser for sensitive skin. I will leave you some recommendations in my blog, and I will give you the link here, so you can maybe, if you want to buy them, okay? So that is the process of cleansing. 2 steps cleansing is important in order to leave the face without excess of sebum, without excess of sunscreen, without excess of makeup in case you have girls and already are using makeup. And the second step is to finally remove every water-soluble dirt in the face. Next week I will talk about the following steps in the skincare routine for young faces.